Hello and welcome to my show TikTok, where we talk about what makes successful people tick and what it took for them to pursue their passions, follow their dreams, and achieve their goals. About a decade and a half ago, today's guest resisted being called a wedding photographer and preferred to be known as a fashion photographer whose work appeared in top magazines like Cosmo, Preview, Mega, Metro. But when he embraced the niche he was gaining a good reputation and raves for and made it his calling, he zoomed all the way to the top and became the most sought after celebrity wedding photographer, trusted and flown all over the world by the rich and famous to capture the most romantic moments of their lives. His best work is also featured in the book Love Behind the Lens, Weddings, Moments, and Happily Ever Afters. I also have to say he's one of the most humble and one of the easiest photographers to work with ever. Please welcome my friend, Mr. Pat D. Hi, Pat.
Hi, Myrza. How are
Good
you?
morning. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. Always a pleasure to chat with you and to let everyone know. Myrza was one of my first few believers when I was starting out. So huge thank you.
Right. We shot a lot for Cosmo. I still remember our Dos Palmas shoot.
Oh
Remember
yes,
that? With
oh
Will
that was
Devon,
and
Val,
Kelly
and
Misa.
Kelly
I
Misa,
remember.
diba? Very memorable. So,
Grabe.
how's work? How are wedding shoots in the time of quarantine?
Well, it's slowly coming back. Not as big as before, but more intimate. And if you ask to with a lot of suppliers, they love the intimate weddings nowadays because everyone's so like engaged with all of their friends, little friends, and little guests. No, so very intimate
Right.
and fun. Mm-mm.
Right. I read in one of your interviews that 75% of the couples you work with always say, we want a small wedding pero ayaw ng parents. And
Yes,
then now,
oh.
pagkakataon na nila, no?
Oh, parang now's your chance to live up to your Yun.
uh, One of your intimate weddings that are of a or wedding shoots
Mm-hmm.
that are of a famous couple na pinost mo sa Instagram was that of Lucky and Jessie, di ba? And then nag-post ka na just you and me with Pat D. What can you say about
Yes.
that?
So it's a humbling experience to be with them. To have this trust, no, with the celebs na parang whatever you say, they have this full trust, knowing na the pictures will come out nice and not baduy, no, na very celeb-ish lang. So
Right.
yun. So very humbling always when
So
celebs get
I
you.
suppose, but you're not alone, right? For this shoot, you still have like a skeleton team.
Mm.
How small is your team now compared to before?
For
Siyempre,
Destiny,
first,
for
first,
destination shoots, normally 2 to 3 na lang kami. Not like
ah,
before, we're around 6 in total. We have the
okay,
assistants, we have the drivers, but now parang skeletal crew talaga. Para in the
right.
interest of safety also.
Oh. So
Mm.
what's it like to have a more, and the guest list has also shrunk, di ba? So ano ba yung limit? Parang
Well,
30
I've
people
shot
na lang ba?
Yeah, oh, I've shot as little as 15 and a maximum of when it opened for a time, mga umabot ng 150. Pero now it's back
Wow.
down to, 30. Yun.
Mm-mm. Pero tuloy pa rin ang mga kasal or are people postponing?
Parang hit and miss eh. Parang some wants to continue and half of them wants to delay and have it next year. My best
Oo.
advice is to have it now na. So parang why wait when you're already ready? Yun.
Oo.
And who knows, 'di ba? Baka next year hindi pa naman kaya mag extravagant wedding. So might as well have it now
Right.
na.
Pero ang
Mm.
mga prenup, patuloy pa rin. We're showing Sarah Labati and Richard Gutierrez. You want to tell us about this? Where was this? And it was just at the start of lockdown last year, di ba?
This was at the before mag-lockdown, around December, yes. Mm-mm. So we shot this El Nido, Palawan. It was a random island, and then parang we decided to stop and rest here. Then yeah, we tried to do some. They were actually Richard and Sarah. They were actually expecting land shots, meaning nakadamit, naka full glamour
Right,
attire.
right.
And then me and Bob, the videographer, we were like, no, let's do underwater first. And then it kind of threw them off the the initial idea. Oh, so yeah, let's have it underwater. And
Right.
syempre, underwater shots are very, very hard to do, especially to look good underwater.
Right. Kasi
So,
medyo lumalaki yung mga subject underwater, di ba?
yes, lumalaki yung subjects, and then most of people's facial expression looks funny when you're
Oo.
underwater. Pero since they are free divers, medyo marunong sila to hold their breath
Ah,
and to look good in regards to body language, facial expression.
oo. I
Pero yun lang.
remember, oh,
Yes.
I remember our friend Barbie Chan,
Mm-hmm.
nung kinasal siya, di ba? You're the photographer, and then on a
Yes.
whim, you said, tara, talon kayo sa water, and then she jumped in her wedding gown.
Right, right. And then the funny story there was Barbie was so, diba, Barbie's very fit, diba, very thin. And
Right.
ang laki ng gown niya. So basically when she went under, her gown was literally slipping off her body. So
Oh
she
my
had to
gosh.
parang hold her down the whole time. Kasama niya si Yerk, her
Natatanggal.
husband. Natatanggal eh, kasi parang nagsa-slide down. Yun.
Right. Here's
Good.
another fairly recent thing that you shot. You want to tell us about this? When was this shot and where?
This was shot in Lake Caliraya right before lockdown as well last year.
Okay.
And when lockdown started, so medyo we kind of like, sabi nila, let's hold on muna with posting the photos, baka, insensitive, stuff like that. So tumagal up to last month lang.
Tumagal yung release.
Yeah, oo.
Oo. So, what was it like shooting this? Medyo, ano ba to? Secret or...
So when we shot it, medyo secret shoot siya muna. Yeah.
Oo.
So it there was a team. If you where I was standing, so behind me, madami kami making bantay. Of course, the glam team, hair and makeup.
Right.
Full production din.
Sanay ka na sa nuances of celebrity shoots, di ba? May element of kailangan privacy, kailangan mabilis siguro mag-shoot kasi the crowds might come.
Right, that's correct. And also, with all the nuances of sa mga celebrity weddings, you have to be, have to be, anong tawag dito? You have to be in the zone as well. Kasi ang daming makaka-distract sa'yo eh. People helping out, yung mga fans, yung mga nagsa-standby sa sides, everything, no? So you have to be in complete focus pa rin.
Right. At least the fans are not there when the celebrities fly you abroad to shoot their intimate moments. Like, you want to tell us about what's happening in these pictures, like with Solen and Nico?
Actually, with the fans, no, parang surprisingly, even abroad, they would stalk their favorite celebrities. With Nico and Solen, parang sa train station lang, may konting fans na wishing they would see them. And then kay Anne naman, in the location called Queenstown in New Zealand,
meron pa rin.
Parang we were all joking na parang bakit itong weekend puro Pinoys? And Queenstown, if you walk around Queenstown from end to end of that small town, parang 10-minute walk lang eh. So imagine every minute may Pinoy.
Every minute? Oh my gosh.
May Pinoy standing around, walking. Parang kitang-kita mo talagang nag-aabang lahat sila. Even when we came from the island where we had the reception, pagbalik namin around 1 a.m., there were a lot of Pinoys fans waiting sa docking area of the boat. So imagine, ganun ka, fanatics talaga. Yun.
Wow. Okay, sige. Konting kwentong buhay muna as we trace the history of Pat D. So let's start off with, you studied percussion in the UP College of Music. I didn't know that. And your choice, of course, was this coming from a Chinese family where usually you're expected to take up business, was this a hard thing to pull off, or were your parents very supportive?
It was a hard thing to pull off because ever since grade school, I was so into music. Photography was really parang hobby lang, no? And then in the span of the years in high school, yeah, constant sermon lang yan from my parents that, I should go into business. Up to the last minute before I went into music, my dad was still bugging me to go into business or accounting.
Wow.
Basta
Wow.
dapat business related. Yan. And they had to juggle because I have a brother who's also a priest. So they were
Oh,
like,
wow.
wow, parang my best son in academic wise is entering priesthood. And this artist who's me, na parang he's going into music naman. Parang, what's
Oo.
happening to our family? It's so unorthodox. Parang ganun.
So were they so worried? And paano mo siya napaglaban?
Well, parang
It,
at the end, napagod lang yung parents ko with me. So, okay, parang do whatever you want. Basta, as long as you make a business out of it, and we'll be happy. So, that stuck in my
wow.
mind. So, parang, okay, parang extra effort na lang.
So how were you gonna make a business out of music?
So music. So after college, we were lucky. We were able to open a small music school near Xavier School. So
Okay.
that's still running up to now. So right now it's more
Wow.
on Zoom lessons naman.
Okay. What do you teach in the music school?
Of all instruments from piano, violin, voice drums.
Okay.
There.
And then I also read that you had a food cart with 4 stores.
Yes, that was our first business. Me and my wife right after we graduated college.
Right. And then, were you worried at all about your future? Like, uh, may business naman, and was the business lucrative enough for you to pursue your other interests?
So the first business, the food business, was able to finance the music school. Yeah, so we were
Oh,
lucky in that sense. And then my wife was Pauline was very supportive. She knew I had a passion and heart for photography, and she said, "Hey, so I'll keep on supporting you. Let's use this bit of a budget. Let's buy your gear for photography so you can pursue
wow.
it more." Yun.
Wow. She never pressured you na, paano ka bubuhay ng pamilya, walang pera dyan. Galing naman.
Very very supportive siya. So in that sense, I'm extremely grateful for her for supporting me in my photography passion.
Right.
And I was able to apprentice with somehow with Francis Abraham. So he gave
Yes.
me a bit of a push also. Yun.
Right. Sabay ba kayo ni Mark Nickdow?
Well, when I was there, Mark was just visiting his friend who's doing OJT
Oh,
kay
okay.
Francis
So nauna ka
Abraham.
pa.
Nauna pa ako
Oo.
for a few months.
Right. And then tell us
Yeah.
about what was your first magazine editorial shoot? And
Magazine
for who?
editor.
And for what?
Well, I remember my first out of town shoot was for Good Housekeeping magazine.
Aba.
Oh, yeah, that was we shot in Boracay. My first cover was
Okay.
for Good Housekeeping as well.
Wow, wow, wow. So how old were you then? Early 20s pa lang.
Ah, mid-20s na ako noon. Medyo
Mid
late ako
20s.
into, oh yes.
Oo. And then, so sunod-sunod na yung mga fashion ad. And
Yes,
then, how
sunod-sunod yung
did,
mga fashion ads.
oo, and then tell us about how napunta ka sa wedding photography.
Well, yung wedding kasi was more of a sideline in the weekends. Just to, satisfy my photography craving. And then, yeah, so the first 2 years, maraming, editorials and advertising. And then one day, I noticed with a bride, she wanted to post more. And not
Right.
impose not in your usual, bridal poses. She was a fashionista. And
Who's
then,
this? Was she a model?
no, just a
Or
regular,
mahilig
may
mag, ano?
normal bride, very fashion, talagang mahilig
Oo,
yun
oo.
to do fashion poses. So na-expand
Right,
ko yung knowledge ko with fashion. I shot her in that way. And then she loved it. And then parang every week, I kept doing that na. Then I told myself,
right.
this can be my niche.
Oo.
doing weddings. Para at least I don't get bored just doing the traditional wedding shots. Yun.
So would you say that your fashion photography experience helped you do something different in the realm of bridal photography? Ano yung mga in-implement mo na touches from your
Ah,
fashion editorial experience?
Actually, with fashion photography and the surrounding, with the surrounding people, the creatives, I think 90% that was my main influence. Kasi with weddings before, it was so traditional with the poses, diba? And let's say, oh yes, I can do a lot of candids capturing the moments. But
Oo.
in the mindset of being with a very good stylist, with a very
Oo.
good creative director, with a fashionista, all in the editorial field, no, in the editorial world. So that kind of thinking together with my music, parang always that the mindset was always push everything forward creatively. Parang
Right. So did
every editorial shoot should be different. Parang ganun yung mindset eh. So parang for me, if it's a different kind of bride, very open, I should be pushing the boundaries always.
So did you, like, for instance, change the theme? Like, you already worked with the best hair and makeup people in the
Mm-hmm.
fashion world and maybe stylists. Did you, like, kind
Yes.
of infuse this in your prenup shoots and wedding shoots?
Ah, in the first few years when I was working with maybe solely makeup artists in the wedding world, no, parang they weren't really familiar with what I was doing. And then luckily, there's a few makeup artists and stylists who were parang in a way transitioning also to doing weddings. So that's how things started in a more efficient manner. Yon,
Right.
something
And
like
then,
that.
did you have early struggles or successful na kaagad? Ano yung mga
No,
problema nung
Mara-
una or challenges?
Well, the early struggles was parang they were jokingly telling me na parang I made the bridal solo longer because before parang hair up, updo, 5 minutes, take a few photos, then you're off to the
Tama.
church. And
Tama.
then now parang I was requesting, can we have the bride with her hair down? Yun, that took another
Oh,
hour. Yun,
right. So
so
yun
that
yung
happened.
sinasabi nilang ikaw yung nagpauso nung hair down shoot. Can you explain what that is?
I was bored na always hair up yung bride. And
Ah,
I was telling them na half of them or more than half of them were telling me after their wedding was like, para I regretted having that kind of hair. Kasi they never had that
oh,
kind of hairstyle eh. And then during those
okay.
years, wala namang testing, 'di ba? Parang
Oo,
you
oo.
don't meet naman a week before to have a makeup
So
or
you
or
don't
hair
recognize
test.
the bride.
Yes, oh, you won't recognize the brides anymore. And they were regretting having that kind of hair. And then,
Oo.
yun nga, again, one day, sabi ko sa isang bride, oh, why not? Let's have your hair down. Yung, ano yung natural for you. Yan.
Oo.
So we had it, nagustuhan. And then, I somehow implemented that look na rin for my brides. And then, true enough, nagustuhan nila sobra. So ngayon, parang
Right.
it became normal na. Mm.
Right. And then I'm sure people have noticed through the years, medyo dekahon na yung bridal shots, di ba? In fact, there's a
Right.
list, di ba?
Mm-mm.
And in fact, medyo nakakatawa na kasi in all the wedding videos and the wedding pictures, sobrang template na lahat ng, di ba? Lahat ng step down to
Right.
the bride will enter the church and then the doors will swing open and then, di ba, parang naging cliche na. What were some of the things that you changed para maging organic or mas authentic yung mga bridal shoots mo?
I always tell the bride na whatever you're thinking, just go for it. Don't overthink it. Parang ganon. If you wanna sit on this spot, just go for it. Laging ganon eh.
Right,
And then
right.
I also advise, let's say mga new coordinators, parang they tend to be very helpful with the bride. Parang nagiging EA ang mga coordinators at times. So
Oo.
I always would tell the bride na, Uy, if you can, try not to rely too much with the coordinators helping you.
Oh,
Kasi there's
okay.
a lot of times they will be in the frame helping you out.
Oo,
Yun. So
oo nga.
if you can just move and do it yourself, even better. That's why if you ask any wedding photographer or videographer, no, we love shooting outside the Philippines. Kasi
Okay.
when there are coordinators outside the Philippines, hindi sila isang batalyon eh. They're not in 5 to 10 crew, no? In terms of
Oo.
coordinators. Dalawa lang
Tama.
sila. So they would just remind the couple, oh, you have to leave at this time and so, and they would leave the frame. Ayaw nila
Right.
maging, they want to be unobtrusive to the scene. Yun.
Right.
So that's why we love
Right.
shooting abroad kasi less people, less gulo, diba? The cleaner the
Right.
shots. Yun.
Right. And I'm sure because you shoot a lot of celebrities, non-celebrity couples kind of want to look like celebrities with a pat touch. What kind of challenges do you meet when doing so? And I remember before, as an editor, di ba, we get to choose which photographer. And ang problema noon, when you get a fashion photographer to shoot regular people for our regular people features, minsan hindi nila alam kunan kasi sanay sila sa
Yes.
model, di ba? Sanay sila sa payat lagi, alam yung angles, and then
Yes.
biglang when faced with, let's say, a portrait of a regular person, hindi flattering. So what is the trick to that, and how are you able to navigate through celebrities and models shooting regular people?
So one big thing I learned shooting models and the really good ones, no, they would pose on by themselves, yung mga magagaling sobra, tastefully. So I was able to get those. I always get updated looking at magazines, and then with reels, with my reel subject, the secret there is to direct them or even show them the pose. Even
Oh,
if you're already looking funny doing those poses, just go for it. Ina-advise ko. And of course, a lot of rapport with them, encourage them that they're doing what they're doing is very very nice to show them the photo after taking
right,
a shot of it.
right. And I'm
Kasi alam mo,
sure, oh,
now the first 2 years was hard for real couples to do poses, no? I noticed the last 3 4 years medyo gumagaling lahat because of
aba,
Instagram, Facebook, and then now
wow,
even to the point na they would tell me, Pat, this is my angle, ah. Gumagano na yung
Nax.
mga real subjects natin. So more than half ganun na mag-express when they're having their
Right.
photos taken.
So parang sila na rin yung editor.
Sila na rin yung editor. So they know, so parang gumagaling yung real couples natin. The ones that are not into it, so you have to parang direct them still, show the poses. Para they
Right.
para may starter, outline sila, what to do.
How about the grooms? Di ba sila, usually, di ba yung groom alangan? Usually, it's the bride's idea mag-prenup or mag-posing-posing.
Right.
Anong experience mo dyan? How are
The
you
groom,
able to relax the groom pag resistant?
the grooms before, they really didn't like yung parang laughing shots or doing it. Parang they find it, tumatawa or whatever, they find it baduy. And then
Right.
parang what I do is, just look outside the window, fix your collar, ganun lang. No need to smile. So those kinds of shot, yung mga with high contrast with lots of shadows, they love those photos na parang passing lang, not really posing per se, no? Yun.
Without revealing your secrets, what do you think is the secret to capturing these private moments in a natural way, diba? Like na hindi fake or put on, because you have been able to capture like some of the really intimate moments na mga crying moments or a lot of crying moments actually na pati ikaw naiiyak.
Yes, yes. Siguro my best advice would be whenever I do mga photography workshops, no, when photographers ask me, what keeps you going? Kasi sometimes, you shoot at a church, let's say 10 straight times, diba? Dire-diretso, the same church. But
Right.
what keeps you going and not get bored na you wanna retire na, parang sobrang boring na, parang redundant, diba? So my best advice is just keep it more organic. Of course, you have a template in your head how you're going to shoot certain angles, no? but you have to let things unfold also. Hindi yung pwedeng in your face ka with your couple, oh, let's do this na at this time. Diba?
Uh-uh.
Paano if things are unfolding? Biglang the groom went in, may surprise siya bigla, stuff like that, and you see a moment happening na that's not in your shot list. Diba?
Right.
Parang let it happen lang. Don't parang stop the moment. Sometimes
Right.
when a, let's say maybe a bridesmaid, a maid of honor, or a groomsman enters the room na may surprise, diba? And then gagawin ng videographer, wait, let's compose everything. Let's put the
Nako.
mic, let's put the lighting, let's put
Right,
Tita
right.
here, let's put the coordinator there. Parang moment
Nasirang
lang.
moment.
Yeah, sometimes you have to be fast on your toes. Whatever happens on the fly, you have to be fast in capturing those special shots.
Right. So you really have to be observant and parang medyo dapat kilala mo ba yung couple para you're attuned to all these cues and nuances.
Actually, my rule of thumb is as soon as I enter the bridal prep room, dapat in 2 minutes, best friends na kami with the bride.
Aba, paano yun na-achieve?
Parang so enter, may pakilala, maybe crack a joke, diba? Parang see her attitude and mood right away. Yun, doon pa lang medyo nagigauge ka na right away. And then
Right.
ears always wide open. Whatever's happening
Right.
left and right with the family members, medyo aware ako.
So have you actually become close to these couples?
Yes, a lot of them. I'm still in touch with them. And then the funny thing here nga is almost every day I would see a couple, a bride and groom saying happy anniversary on Facebook. And then they would tag
Aba.
me. So medyo heartwarming all the time when couples tag you.
Can you tell from their chemistry na live as you're shooting them? Can you tell kung sino yung talagang super in love na tatagal or medyo yung hindi masyado?
alam ko yung gusto mong tanong eh. Parang yung na-ask mo nga, nafe-feel mo ba kung ma-feel mo pala ito? Yung ba yung pinaka-question here?
Ikaw nagsabi, hindi ako.
No, most of the time naman, you would feel the emotion, the intensity of the couples together.
Right.
Parang I always joke nga na, the more you guys fight in front of me, the more developed your relationship is.
Nax, bakit may nagfa-fight ba actually in front of you?
Yeah, medyo. They argue mga little things. That means that they're able to navigate in mga small things and might not make a big deal out of it. And if they parang argue in front of you, very comfortable na sila in each other's skin. That's how I put it.
Right. So have there been any problems or incidents, and how did you recover from them? Mga hindi inaasahang pangyayari or emergency? Meron bang amusing incidents like that?
Well, there is, not naming names, may mga fun stories to may kwento. Let's say it's the second wedding of this couple, and then the happy and former, partner.
Nako.
Then she might the crash the church wedding.
Meron na crash? Oh my gosh.
Muntik na. May mga security watching out for him or her.
Oh my goodness. Ganun naka-prepared yung mga coordinator na
Ganun na, meron
na-anticipate.
Na-anticipate, yes. Meron din, nahihilo because of heat stroke. Yun.
Oh my gosh.
So very common yun when you have like beach weddings.
Right. Wow. So how much are there couples na super OC na problema na?
Well, during the pandemic,
so, how do you
there was a
handle
lot.
Syempre, safety, diba?
Well, I think being OC okay lang naman. And then I just have to reassure, it's normally the bride, diba? Parang having a lot of things to say. We just tell her na, just let it happen organically. But parang don't worry too much. That's why you hire professionals, have to trust your suppliers. Don't try to micromanage them.
Right.
So kailangan reassurance lang always.
Right. And I'm sure the fact that they picked you means they're trusting their shoot in the hands of the best. Right.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, what is the secret to being the best? In one of your interviews, you mentioned that your musical training
Mm.
taught you how to be a perfectionist, and how did you apply that to photography and wedding photography to be more
because
particular?
uh, because growing up I had this mindset of, let's say you're trying to emulate this the drum parts of a certain song, no, and
Right,
then my teacher would always tell me, yeah, it's okay to copy, emulate, but you have to make it your own all the time. Yon.
right.
So, and there, if you're performing live, when I was in during my band days, no, when I was performing live, I would always make the drum parts different in certain areas. So
Right.
always push things forward. Mm.
Right. So in photography speak, ano yung mga parallels?
So the parallels, like it's like fashion also with photography. You always have to create something new for your
Right.
couples, for your market every year, because every couple getting married every year, it's a new market, diba? It's not
Mm-mm.
like they know you already when they're like in their teens, diba? Na I want to be shot by a wedding photographer, stuff like that. You always have to be in touch with the current trends and push things to make it interesting always. Mhm.
Right. And how do you evolve and innovate when I'm sure anything that you do well and do for a long time, medyo nagiging formula na yon, di ba? Nagkaka-muscle
Right.
memory ka na. So,
Mm.
would you say, how many, have you shot like over 100? I'm sure over 100, right? Over a
Yes,
thousand
oo.
weddings,
Uh,
siguro. How do
I
you
stopped
keep
counting after 1,000.
how do you keep it fresh, and how do you still get excited kung, 'di ba? Parang ito na
Ah,
naman tayo, ganito na naman.
I would always tell my subjects, the more game you are, the more we can experiment. Yan.
Right.
So they
Oo.
have the energy for that. I would experiment all the time, do certain poses differently, stuff like that. Oo. Yeah,
Right.
so that's how I push things forward, na
Oo.
to get those parang more unique shots than those cookie
Right.
cutter shots.
Right. You've also mentioned in your previous interviews that you always have to be on your toes because the person who will be your parang there are always new photographers being born who might take away your slot, di ba? So how do you innovate, and what are some of the innovations that you yourself came up with?
So I have a parang outline in my head what things I need to innovate the whole time. Let's say as little as shooting details, and then shooting the bride's beauty shots, the bride's mid shots, her full body shots, up to the couple poses. Always parang have new pegs to to do, no, on a monthly basis. I think that's the parang initial outline always in my head, how to make it different. Mm.
Wow. And then I also found out about how you innovated the syncopated slideshow. You want to tell us about that?
Oh, wow! Pati alam mo pa, galing ah.
Siyempre.
I'm impressed. Yeah, so coming from my music background, since I'm a drummer, I always like adding beats to the slideshows. So
Oo.
if there's a drum roll, so I would also sync it with the photos. Na parang nag-drum roll
Oh,
siya at certain
okay.
parts of the slideshow. Mm-mm.
Oo. So, naging trademark mo na to.
Yes, naging trademark din, yes. Mm.
Oo. So, I'm gonna walk the viewers through the photos that you sent me, which you say are
Mm.
your favorite shots, and tell us something about each one. So, what's
Okay,
happening here?
here, this was my first wedding in Europe. This was shot
Oh, wow.
outside Paris. They are they're both foreign. They're a foreign
Uh-huh.
couple. They saw my photos through a Pinoy friend. Yeah, so that's
Okay.
how. Then they brought me to Paris to shoot their wedding. Mm-mm.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
And
so I kind of
then,
like the frame lang and the silhouette of
uh-uh.
her face dun sa frame. So parang
Uh-uh.
nag-match lang there.
Right. Okay, what's happening here, and whose wedding is it? Solen's?
This was a Solen's wedding. This was I always show this on mga workshops ko. I always tell the photographers asking for advice. If you look at this photo, your eyes would probably just shooting the Solen and the bridesmaids, diba?
Right.
And there was already a story unfolding in front of them, which was this
Okay.
little girl, parang smiling lang, imagining probably her wedding in
Uh-uh.
30 years, no? So
Right.
yeah, so this became a crowd favorite,
Uh-uh.
in terms of me showing photos of moments, unique moments.
It must take millions of pictures for this to occur, diba? So are you just like clicking
Mm.
left and right para you won't miss a moment?
Yes, my best advice is if you find a certain meaning that's not part of your parang outline, and you find it
Mm-mm.
interesting, keep on shooting. Don't stop.
Right, right. So
Mm-mm.
madugo rin ang editing siguro kasi ang dami.
Madami, yeah. We shoot thousands, then I just give a few hundreds of the best ones on print.
Oh, wow. Brilliant.
Mm-mm.
Okay. So what's happening here?
This one feeling ko, I captured Carill's uh, parang
Joy.
joy, her expression, who she is, by just
Right.
by looking at
I
this photo of
agree.
her
Uh-uh.
laughing.
Uh-uh.
Yung
Right. And you're right. It's not your typical
bridal
template
portrait.
list.
Yes.
Uh-uh.
Mm.
Okay. How about this one?
This one was a use of certain background textures. So you would normally just
Okay.
shoot a bridal beauty shot as a garden or
Uh-uh.
inside a hotel window light, diba? This one I found a nice chair with some
Uh-uh.
nice texture going. So parang, always look
Okay.
for certain elements to make things different in your final
Right.
out.
Okay. Wow. This looks like a dangerous shot. Where are you positioned and where are you actually?
This was shot in Bali. I was just across them. There's a small bridge lang good for 3 people. So I went across just to shoot them by the edge. That small island can only fit around 25 people.
Oh,
So medyo
wow.
interesting lang yung viewpoint.
Oh, okay. This one, very, very spontaneous and
Yes, very
natural and
spontaneous.
not posed.
Yes, but maybe with a lot of other photographers, they would just tell them, "Oh, guys, magsubuan lang kayo together," stuff like that. So what I told them, Solen and Nico, para I just said, "Guys, just enjoy your ice cream, eat, and just be yourselves." Ganon,
Okay.
ganon, ganon ko sinabi. So parang yan. So we came out, it came out with a more unique expression, diba?
Right. Right. And this one is controversial but captured Solen perfectly.
I
How was this planned or spontaneous or was it on her bucket list or what?
This was a very spontaneous, and I would tell everyone na I was actually beside my wife when I was shooting
Okay,
Solen.
I mean
Uh,
disclaimer.
I mean, my wife was beside me. We shot in the toilet of the chateau.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and a side joke was like when Solen was walking before we had this photo, parang she was raising the underwear. Ah, do we shoot with the white underwear or with the black underwear? Parang nakakatawa lang pakinggan, diba?
Right.
If you hear the audio bites from the videographer, it it it
Right.
it would sound funny. Na we were just talking casually about what underwear to wear in front of everyone.
Even funnier was Nico's uh, copycat version of this shoot.
Yes,
Which,
oo.
hindi, ikaw ba yung kumuha o hindi na ikaw?
No, Nico shot it. I think by himself,
By
or maybe.
himself.
I think
Okay.
Solen shot the photos. Mm.
Right, right,
And then
right.
I would always get requests from real brides to do this photo.
Oh my gosh. Seriously? And did
Hmm.
you?
Yes, yes. Oh, I got a lot of requests after doing this photo. Like,
Wow.
kasi in a way, it's not revealing, diba? Parang they
Yeah.
just
Yeah, yeah,
parang
yeah.
silhouette lang and still maintain that sexy overtone, diba?
Right, right.
So nothing really vulgar, Done not always, boudoir shots should always be done tastefully,
Right, right. So do you get a lot of boudoir shoot jobs?
Yes, yes. A lot of brides. Kasi parang that's the only time that they really worked hard for their body to fit into the gown.
Right, right.
Half of them talaga nag-workout, nag-diet. So
Okay,
I would always get requests to do boudoir shots.
right. How about the men? May boudoir shots o wala?
There's a few guys who also request
Okay.
for, we call it boudoir shots.
Boudoir shots.
Yun ang joke, boudoir
Right.
shots.
Okay, how about this one?
this is one of my favorite shot in Antonio's
Right.
at their parang outdoor bar garden. So
Uh-uh.
I found it super parang classic and fashion at the same time.
Uh-uh.
Yun. There.
And of course, the cover of your summit book.
Yes, that made it into the cover of
The
my book.
cover. Right, right.
And
Tell us about this shoot and this
yes.
day.
Before we make cuento, you can
Uh-uh.
still find this
Yes,
in
please.
online in Lazada. Actually, very easy to
Okay.
order. Just type
Right,
Pat D Love Behind the Lens.
right, right.
So if you'll notice from the original photo, it was shot in horizontal format, and
Uh-uh.
then the sun was hitting and perfectly with a slight
Right.
shadow kay Erwan. And then
Uh-uh.
yun, so we cropped it to make it into a vertical format na front
Right,
cover. So if
right.
you'll notice, it was windy that day.
Oh,
And
oh.
Anne had the presence of mind to parang hold on to her hair lang para maganda yung
Uh-uh.
silhouette. And then
Uh-uh.
Erwan's, of course, maganda naman yung mga harsh light with guys eh. So it
Right,
made for a very nice organic moment na feeling of a
right,
cover.
right. What do people not know about these nice organic moments na mga wind blown, di ba? Parang dali-dali. What actually goes into the work behind this?
My best advice for brides and grooms is that don't be too OC with what's happening around you.
Like the
If it's
hair,
if
di ba?
yeah,
Lumalipad.
if it's windy, work with it. If
Right.
the gown is not draping
Perfect.
or parang way perfect when you're walking, if it's a bit dirty, just go with it. Basta walk naturally, enjoy, and we'll capture more unique
Right.
shots because of that.
Right. Because maybe they're afraid to look awkward or clumsy, right? But
Right.
how do you reassure them that they will not?
And also, if you're really not used to wearing 4.5-inch heels,
Right.
my best advice is right after you walk out the church, switch to a wedge shoe or to sneakers, just so you can walk properly. Because
Right.
a lot of bride parang I want to feel the being a bride, high heels. But if you cannot walk and if you
Right.
walk naturally, your photos will look like robotic in terms of
Uh-uh.
the overall output. I think medyo
Right.
debatable Of course, designers would want you to wear heels, but if you're not
Right.
really comfortable, if you're not used to it, and then we'll get awkward photos.
Right.
Advice sa bride ko, just remove your shoes.
Right.
Walk na lang tayo barefoot. Diba?
Uh-uh. Right. Okay. How about this picture, which really captures the emotions and the tears and the moment? Tell
Well,
us.
someone was giving a speech, a heartfelt speech, and of course, after shooting that person, detailing his his speech and moment, I would aim my camera shooting whoever is listening, na intensely. Of course, the couple will always be listening, na
Mm-mm.
whoever's giving the speech, and they were breaking into tears na. Yan.
Uh-uh.
So, yan.
Wow.
Kakaiyak, no, just
Okay.
by looking at them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really a picture that paints 1,000
Yes.
words.
And then you would see Anne na parang holding on to her husband, di ba?
Uh-uh.
Then the husband's
Uh-uh.
parang very, di ba,
Uh-uh.
comfortably parang
You can see in
supporting
the
her.
in the body language. Okay, how
Yes,
about
yes,
this
agree.
one?
This
Before the
one
wedding ba to?
this was shot before and dressed up to her gown. Yes.
Okay.
Parang she got so excited na she just went up the bed and then started jumping. And then the sisters, si Jasmine, went to the bed also. They started jumping. Ganun lang.
Okay.
Nag-enjoy lang sila.
Right. Okay. How about this one?
This was shot in New Zealand, this was shot in Royce Peak, just outside Queenstown in New Zealand. So we rode a helicopter going up there.
Wow. And what is your
Yun.
vantage point? Are you in the helicopter or no?
I was almost just beside the helicopter, medyo slightly sloping up that small mountain to get this shot. It's actually a very famous blogger site now to shoot at
Oh,
this spot. No, it's called Royce Peak.
okay. Right. And here's the
And here's a
Dog
nice
of
photo.
honor.
Yes, the dog of honor with the bride. She wanted someone to be with her lang in the car. Para lang mas
Oh,
makarelax siya and then just wait for a nice photo.
right. Okay, how about this one?
This one, I just told Jess na just parang feel the air, enjoy, swing your arms. Yon. So if I see na a person, a bride na very parang chill lang, doing whatever, I would give hints and of things to do, no? And then I just play it from there. Yon.
Right. Okay, where was this plane crash?
This one is at a parang junkyard area outside Las Vegas. Medyo hard
Mm,
to get to. Parang it's off.
uh-uh.
Hindi siya in ways. You have to navigate
Right.
through a few kilometers of a dirt road. Yan. So it made for a nice photo. A funny story with the plane crash site, no? Um, when I was shooting this, beside me were a lot of cactuses.
Oh my
So
gosh.
so when I knelt low, parang tumusok sa akin yung cactus on my knee. And then I had to tell the couple, wait lang guys, I have to pull my pants down. Yeah, to remove yung
So,
parang tusok dun sa knee ko. So
matinik
funny
yung
story.
shoot na yan. Matinik.
Yes, matinik. Oh. This
Okay,
one
okay.
is a favorite of mine because you'd see two hipsters, no, in around Paris. There's
You're
not not
right.
a, not a care in the world when couples are just kissing in front of them. Well, he'd
Right.
even eat a sandwich while we were doing
Right.
photos.
Right. What would you say is the so now how long have you been a wedding photographer? 15 years or more?
Well, I would lie and tell
Or
everyone
special?
just about
Okay.
10.
Okay. But in the
Parang,
beginning,
parang
you
forever
resist.
bagets pa rin.
Oo nga. Try ko yan. But in the beginning, why were you resisting being called a wedding photographer? Was it because yung perception ng wedding photographers nung time na yon was inferior to fashion photographers? What can you say about that time of in the photography industry? I remember a lot of fashion photographers would actually say, no, I don't do weddings. But
Because
you really changed things.
yes, because when I was starting out, yes, inferior nga ang tingin nila with wedding photography.
Hello? Uh-oh. Hello.
So that's how I would, look at myself, first and foremost as a fashion photographer because of the glamour of
Right.
it.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
so
then,
when I found out that there's this big need in the wedding industry, to shake things up, then
right.
I told myself, why not, invest on shooting weddings and making it more of a fashion editorial.
Right.
Yun. And if,
And
if
we
you look at, and because of that, in the next few years, the fashion stylists would be relegated to shooting editorials only, diba, for magazines.
right.
It was unheard of to have a fashion stylist shooting engagement
Right.
shoots. And now you have
Right.
full-time stylists making good money just by
Right.
doing engagement shoots. Yun. And they
Oo.
would style it properly as well. Parang fashion ed
Right.
na. Mm-mm.
And then especially now na medyo wala ng magazines, 'di ba?
Mm.
Medyo nawawala na ng venue ang fashion photography.
Right.
It's good that many people probably crossed over to this new industry. What can you say about yun nga, the death of magazines and print? And I worry about the fashion photographers a lot because what are they going to shoot for? What are your thoughts about this?
I think there's a new avenue that's already open the last 2 years. You will also have, aside from celebrities, you have TikTok celebs, IG celebs, Facebook celebrities. Why not do collabs with them? Yeah,
Right.
that's my advice.
Okay.
That can be a new avenue, no, to expose your work, to show your work. I think it's already happening the last 2 years here and
Right.
abroad as well. I think maybe
Right.
the level of eye, having a good eye with doing magazines. Maybe it's not up to par yet when you're doing collabs. Pero feeling ko in the next 2 years it's gonna level up even more, and it's going to be at a level na maybe Cosmo levels, Gold
Wow.
level, Vanity Fair when you're doing collabs now with artists. You have
Right.
to,
So,
once you share your knowledge as a fashion photographer, doing collabs with all these social media stars, tataas yung level for sure. So you have to do
right.
the more tasteful collabs to level things up.
Right. And that's why you've been using the time of quarantine actually to brush up on your social media skills. Tell us about how you have concentrated and focused now on Instagram, YouTube, and now TikTok. And what's your
Right,
advice
right.
for all the other photographers na kailangan humabol?
Right. If you're still debating if you're gonna get into Instagram or TikTok or
Right.
YouTube, you are
Oo.
already late to the game.
Behind.
Yeah.
Tama.
So don't think, do it right now.
Right.
That's my advice to everyone. And to the maybe the older photographers
The
and
older.
stylists, the older ones,
Oo.
you have to get with the game. Diba?
Right.
You can't complain na and say na I've done my part, I've already been
Right.
successful the next so and so years. I would tell them don't think like that. You have to be aggressive all the time. Yeah.
Right.
So parang my best since the Pinoys are love basketball, I would tell them, look at Michael Jordan. Sobrang dami awards na. And then later on, latter part of his career, parang he would still think na, how would I beat this younger guy? Ganun yung mindset niya eh. Yeah,
Right.
so extremely competitive. So you have to think like that all the time.
Right.
Don't tell people na already secured with my style. No, I would tell them no, you have to be secured to be insecure.
Oh,
That's what I tell them. So me,
right.
I still look behind my back na, uy, sino yung mga upcoming ones.
Oo.
If I like something, I would make it my own, diba? Parang iibahin
Right.
ko to make it unique. If you look at
Right.
fashion photographers, we would, parang if I do something unique before sa magazine, we would all praise each other. Sina Mark,
Right.
sina Paolo, they would text, uy,
Uh-uh.
ganda ng shoot mo. And with wedding photographers, dapat ganun din yung mindset. Before kasi
Uh-uh.
with wedding photographers, it's like, uy, ginaya mo ko ah, ba't kita
May
nagayaan?
ganun?
Oh, parang very shallow yung ang mindset. So parang
Okay.
no, parang every concept has been done. You just have to
Right.
make it more unique, and more
Right.
current.
Right. And that's why you're so generous with sharing your secrets and your talent. How do you keep abreast of competition and yet not be scared or too insecure na nagiging negative ka na? Paano mo binabalanse yun?
Well, actually, maraming magagaling dyan eh. So, kailangan ko lang just look at their work, appreciate it, and, get bits and pieces all the time.
Right.
Make a new look out of it. Ganun lang palagi.
Right.
So, for me, every day, every hour, lagi nasa mind ko yan.
Right.
Don't get bored or lazy. Just do that. It has to be 24/7 when you're, into this or to any passion.
Wow. So, do you ever rest?
Yes, right now I'm resting. I'm enjoying my coffee.
Right. Right. So, what's your advice for all the newcomers who are interested in photography, but wow, everyone is now a photographer, right? Like
Right.
anyone with an iPhone is a photographer. How will they still be able to break into the business with so much competition when everyone and her brother is a photographer, di ba?
Right, right.
Dami-daming saturated na yung market. What's your advice for them?
Best advice is if you want to succeed in this line of work, don't think about the money when you're starting out. Yan.
Hard to
That's
do, but how do you do that?
yeah. So make things work. If you need to just shoot every day and get connected with people, no, but you're just making tasks for money, do it. While
Right.
you
And
while you're while you're young, enjoy it and don't and keep your focus straight into that passion of yours. Kasi parang nowadays you get sidetracked easily with what's happening on social media. Uy, I want to do this also. I want to travel to this place, and then you're not shooting, diba? So you have to
right,
be. If you're a photographer, if you go to a new place, you have to keep on shooting 24/7. Dapat shoot lang.
right, right.
There's a
And
lot of
as you
mga.
go
There's a lot
ahead,
of
there's a lot of
there's a lot of mga business people already working with big companies, no? into photography, really, really good with taking photos. And they would tell me, no, Pat, we have to have this parang very corporate outline. In 2 years, I have to be in this level of photography.
Ah,
Or in 4 years, I have to be have this company. Parang don't think of that. The more you'll pressure yourself, diba?
right,
Just shoot and be creative. And if
right,
you're doing something good, for sure money will just come. People will start
right.
appreciating. It's gonna come left and right.
And how do you even do that in a pandemic? Like we are kind of stuck at home. What's your advice for them?
If you have a friend, invite them, shoot outdoors. That will give you a lot of space, very safe, diba? You know,
Right,
shoot outdoors.
right. And when do you know when to quit your day job? Like for you.
When money is already coming in, na parang surprise na left and right, people are starting to hire you, then that's the time you quit your day job. Marami
Right.
kasi quit agad to focus And then
Oo.
there's this pressure na you have to make ends meet because maybe
Uh-uh.
you have a house to pay, you have a
Right.
family. So medyo mahirap na, of course.
Right. And how
Yes,
do you how do you last for as long as Pat D has lasted in the industry?
keep innovating. Yeah, that's my best advice. It's like, in fashion terms, para every year there's new outfits coming out, certain cuts.
Right.
You have to be up to date. Parang
Right.
music din yan or basketball, have new moves, invent,
Right.
change the
Ikaw ba,
game.
ikaw ba may to-do list ka for innovating? Like, do you have like benchmarks? Like, okay, by this time, kailangan may bago na naman akong gimmick or what? May ganun ka ba?
Parang actually whenever I do a shoot, maybe an engagement shoot or a wedding, parang it's automatically nasa mind ko na Parang how do I change this shot? Parang forever ganun lang,
Ah,
all the time. No,
right.
experiment, sometimes it works, sometimes it looks funny. Then if it works, then keep. Ganun lang.
Right.
Oo.
Right. Any last words for brides and grooms out there, and the wedding industry in particular, which I'm sure has taken a big hit in terms
I,
of
I just have a question for you. Is
oh
that
my
you?
gosh.
Is that your picture behind you? Is that your back?
I wish it were me, but people think it's me because it kind of looks like me, but it's
Yes.
not.
Oh.
I bought it because I felt like it was me, but actually it's not.
So it represents you.
Right. It spoke to me.
Oo nga, sabi ko parang nice back. Ganda, ganda ng photo.
Right. Thank you so much, Pat. Please flash your book again and invite people to
Sure.
follow you and to buy your book.
Guys, my book is still available in Lazada. Just type Pat D, Love Behind the Lens. And please make sure you're following me on IG, Instagram, PatD11. And the same address with TikTok.
Right. All right. Thank you so much, Pat.
Thank you so much, Myrza, for having me.
So
Salamat.
nice talking to you, and I hope to
Nice
see you
catching up.
soon and work with you soon.
For sure. Game. Always game
All
for me.
right. Bye.
Bye.